Welcome back to another video. I work on the second floor of my house and begin the roof. But now to the actual topic. For the last 2 or 3 years, the biggest tech monopolies on the planet have been trying to force feed us the exact same lie. We were told that generative artificial intelligence was the undeniable future of the internet. We were told by billionaire CEOs and venture capitalists that human artists, writers, and also developers were obsolete, and that within a few years, every single game we play, platform that we use, and operating system we install would be entirely run by automated algorithmic slop. They pumped like hundreds of billions of dollars into server farms and data scraping, expecting the public to just blindly consume whatever AI generated garbage that they shoved into our screens. They successfully pushed this tech onto corporate web developers and enterprise software companies who didn't have a choice. But the tech industry made one massive fatal miscalculation and mistake. They tried to force the same artificial intelligence onto the gaming community. And over the last few weeks, we have watched the gaming industry, both players, gamers, and the developers mount the most aggressive, successful, and financially devastating rejection of corporate technology in modern history. The tech bros they thought that they could just replace human passion with algorithms and slop to boost their stock prices. But instead of that happening, the gaming community is actively popping the multi-billion-dollar AI bubble. Today, we're going to look at how players literally bullied Microsoft's newest Xbox CEO into apologizing for the AI slap. How Roblox, a game I play and my sister plays, is currently destroying its own platform with chat filters, AI stuff, and a brand new leaked industry data that proves that the dead internet is officially failing because gamers simply refuse to buy it. To understand exactly how badly the tech giants are losing this war, you have to look at the absolute panic currently happening inside of Microsoft. Microsoft has basically bet the entire trillion-dollar corporate existence and their future on forcing AI into every single aspect of your daily life. They ruined Windows 11, the search bar, Copilot, all of that. They tried to implement the whole recall stuff into that was a big backlash towards them. And they have also been desperately trying to figure out how to monetize AI in the gaming space. Just a few weeks ago, I think in late February of this year, Microsoft made a massive leadership change, in which they appointed I think it's Asha Sharma, an executive who entire recent career was strictly focused on core AI products, as the brand new CEO of Xbox. The backlash was so immediate and so loud and so vicious that the corporate PR machine completely panicked. Gamers flooded every single social media platform, forums, and also things like Reddit, openly declaring that Xbox was dead and that his new CEO was just going to flood the Xbox ecosystem with AI generated garbage. The pressure was so intense that Microsoft couldn't even ignore it. Before they could even settle into the new job, the new Xbox CEO was forced to put out a statement pretty much publicly promising that Microsoft would not, chase short-term efficiency, and she explicitly stated that she would not, flood our ecosystem with soulless AI slop. Just think about how insane that is. The gaming community bullied the executive of Microsoft into literally using the phrase AI slop in an official capacity to beg for their trust back. They know that if they try to pull the same artificial intelligence tricks in gaming that they pull in other sectors like corporate software, the community will financially ruin them. But while Microsoft is terrified of the backlash, other companies are currently finding out the hard way what happens when you force AI onto a player base that actively dislikes it or the feature. So let's look at Roblox right now. So for years Roblox has the classic iconic hashtag filter. If you say something filtered, it gets tagged out. It was annoying at times, but it was simple and it worked, and it became a core part of Roblox itself. But Roblox corporate is currently obsessed with appeasing Wall Street and investors by pretending to be a cutting-edge AI company. So just a few days ago, or I think they started rolling out a brand new update that fundamentally changes the communication on the platform. Pretty much they remove the standard filter the hashtag and replace it with a real-time AI-powered chat rephraser. Now, if you type something the algorithm deems inappropriate, it doesn't like block it. It really like rewrites your sentence or word to be more civil and forces that altered message through to like the actual chat. Pretty much, if you type like a no message, the AI like intercepts your brain waves, sanitizes it, and outputs like the good version to like your server and like your friends or whatever. And the community is absolutely rioting, and rightfully so. Like, this is literal like dystopian behavior. A massive corporation using artificial intelligence to actively put words into the mouths of its users in real time. It is completely like Orwellian. So I remember seeing like a massive survey from like just one place, like I kind of forgot, but pretty much like it pulled like hundreds of thousands of gamers, and it showed that like literally like 85% of players have like a negative view of generative AI in video games, with 63% holding a very negative view. Like the tech billionaires are literally doing interviews right now crying about how like they're shocked and sad that that gamers are like rejecting their multi-billion dollar like technology. Like they spend all this money like building the slot machine, and then they're furious that we refuse to eat the slop. This is why the gaming community is, like the absolute final boss, pun there, of the internet. When corporate web developers are told to use AI coding tools, they just like quietly comply. When social media companies inject AI into like your feed, the average casual scroller just does not care. But gamers are different. Like, gamers like they're more like organized, like pretty vocal, and like they're definitely like technical. Like they are advanced. And we know exactly what a high quality product like looks like. And like we understand the value of human art, and most importantly like we know how to organize like a boycott that actually like hurts a corporation's bottom line. Like there's some big examples of that. Like the entire dead internet theory like relies on the public eventually just like giving up and accepting that everything like they see, read, and play is generated by like a machine. But the events of like the last few weeks, like few months you could say, prove that the exact like opposite is happening. Like the tech industry completely overplayed their like their hand. Like they thought that they could like automate human creativity, but instead they just created like the most like unified like aggressive pushback in the history of like software and technology. Like we are watching the AI bubble like actively burst just because like the single largest like entertainment sector on the planet simply refuses to participate in like the scam. Like the developers are refusing to build with it, the players are refusing to buy it, and the tech CEOs are finally like starting to panic. So of course I want to hear from you guys in the comments your thoughts on this topic. So yeah, make sure to have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I forgot to talk about, and that's like the Q&A. So I remember that pretty much I'm gonna make it like a 3,000 subscriber Q&A. Well, now it's more like 7K, but I do have to get that out. So talking about that, I need to close the forum, and I'm going to start like answering the questions. There was like quite a bit. Someone spend some time on that. So yeah, I am planning to get that video out. I mean, probably by, like the end of the week, like rebrand it. I might do like some more Q&As in the future, because like it is definitely gonna be fun, like listening to you guys and like you're answering your questions. Like it's very interesting to see what my viewers want to ask about me. So yeah, that's just a final thing, and yeah, I'll see you next time.